Can you talk to us about some of the most significant changes that have happened over the course of the last 9 months as it relates to business?
Well, one of the most significant changes is the loss and the limitation of the available amount of credit for the business owner and for the purchaser, for whoever it is that's buying your product or service in business. I think we have to realize that most of our purchasing power is actually done with credit. So if that tool has been limited in any way, it creates a problem that we've never really had to deal with before. So now the ability to buy on the purchaser's end has been restricted. So it makes it difficult for them to purchase your product or service. And the use of the tool of credit for itself in order to expand your business could also be affected in that way also.
Having their credit removed is obviously affects their ability to purchase. How else does that affect a person's ability to run their business?
Yeah, so what we're talking about is perceived risk, because an entrepreneur has to be able to have some level of risk in their business. And that is a mental or emotional state that they're actually going through. You know, how much am I going to risk in my business? So if people who are buying your product or service also have the same issue with their own financial security. And one of the things that's actually come up that most people never even realized was that we have an income that comes in from whatever various source that may be. Well, what if that income was to disappear? What would a person do? Normally, in a healthy economic climate, if the income was to disappear, in a very short period of time, they'd be able to replace it. They would get another job, they would start another business. It wouldn't be too much of a concern because we know that we have the ability to do those things. But in this climate, it becomes a larger concern because we don't know when is the person going to be able to get another job. So what would be the security blanket for that individual? Well, credit would be. Now that's been limited or removed in many cases completely. So if the resource itself has been removed or limited and it's taken away, you know, like banks have actually taken the control away from people in order to be able to have that. That underlying security blanket that nobody even realized was a security blanket for many people has been stopped or limited. So now the way that they evaluate their purchases is much different than it has been before, because they know that if they start using their credit to buy things that aren't necessarily serving them or going to give them a return on their investment, that if they use that up, they don't have anything else to fall back on. So it's very significant when an entrepreneur looks at how do we get people to actually use this last or waning resource that they have in order to buy or purchase the product or service that we're offering.